Hi there, it's Joe at PC Repairs 101 and today we're going to be doing a screen replacement on a Toshiba Satellite L730/L735. Slightly more complicated than simple repairs like RAM replacements and stuff, but it's still something that if you follow these instructions pretty precisely, you should be able to do at home quite easily. So before we start, I'm just going to say, like I say in my other videos, you want to have protection. This is to stop any electrical surges and any short circuits from occurring in the laptop when you're stripping it down. So what you'll need is either an anti-static wristband with an anti-static mat, or like I'm wearing now, some anti-static gloves. They're absolutely great. I think the gloves are they're a lot more comfortable and a lot more efficient than the anti-static wristbands with the mats. Also, what you'll need is some a screwdriver set, some screwdrivers, preferably precision screwdrivers. They're going to be the ones that you really ought to use due to the size of the screws. So what I use is a Blue Spot screwdriver set. It's a magnetic screwdriver set. I've tried many in the past and I've not been happy with any of them. Reason I've gone for this set is because after trying out all the other ones, this one, I mean, it was for the price, it was so cheap, and it's such good quality for the price it is. I was quite shocked actually when I first got them. The other ones I've got in the past, they say they're magnetic, they're not, or if they are magnetic, they're very weak and they wear out quickly. Also, the tips on the screwdrivers tend to wear down over time, but I've had these ones now for probably half a year now, and they're still just as good as when I first purchased them, so I really recommend them. They're Blue Spot. What I'll do is I'll post a link to these and also the anti-static gloves in the description below, so that if you would like to purchase them, there's a link there. So now that's over, what I'll do is, well, I'll explain to you how to replace the screen on this laptop. So before we do anything, what we'll have to do is remove the battery. This just stops any electrical charge from still going into the laptop. So you just unclip it there and there, just 2 clips. And then what we want to do is turn it over and hold down the power button for about 10 to 20 seconds. So what this will do is it will deplete any electrical charge that's still in the laptop, as with the new LED screens, the older ones, they contain an inverter which basically inverts the power for the screen. The newer LED ones don't actually have this function, but what that means is you have to remove the battery, otherwise there is a possibility of the laptop completely shorting out and the motherboard failing when the screen is removed. So just make sure that the battery is removed before attempting to remove any screen on an LED laptop. So now I've held that down for about 10 seconds, the power should be depleted. So what we'll do is we'll remove the screen. So if you want to just grab a flathead screwdriver, there will be 1, 2, 3, 4 very faint covers that you could just gently pry off with your flathead if you're just very careful. What I'll do is I'll just bring the camera slightly closer so I can show you. So this is one of them. I'll only show you for one of them. But yeah, as you can see, that just very gently came off like that. Just put them safely to the side. What you want to do is take real care when you're taking these off, because it can make the laptop look very scruffy when you put it back together, and these protectors are all worn down. I mean, it doesn't matter too much, but if you're a bit of a perfectionist like me, then I would highly recommend as much care as possible. So that's the third one. And then we've got the fourth one here. These ones come off quite simple. Other laptops it might be a bit more difficult, but that one's come off fine. So we've taken the caps off, the little covers. What that will do now is, let me try and zoom out a little bit more, is that will leave you with 4 Phillips screws showing. So what we need to do now is just unscrew these screws, put them somewhere safe, very straightforward. Now once they're off, we'll need to unclip this bezel. What you need to do, it will sound quite nasty when you're clipping them off, it'll go click, 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 you know, but that's all normal as long as you're taking care, as long as you're not forcing anything, it should just come off quite simply. On some occasions you might snap one of the little hinge things if you've never done it before. Don't worry too much, because once you clip it on, as there's so many of them, the integral structure should be fine. But just because that's the case doesn't mean that you shouldn't take as much care as possible when you are taking this bezel off. So what we'll do is just do the bottom now. Gently pop it off. So now that's all come off. If you just flip the screen closed, you've got two little clips on the back. So if I can get closer, so you can just see the line here where the hinge for the bezel, the hinge for the lid separate. So you just pop the flathead in there and just kind of pop them out, which should allow you to simply just take off this bezel. Might be a little bit fiddly, or you just use a screwdriver just to pry it off. Still take care, but yeah, there we go. You just leverage that off. So I'll put that to the side. So once you've removed the screen bezel, you'll have the screen itself on show. You'll also have the screen brackets as well as the hinges on show. It's quite straightforward. So what we've got is we've got 1, 2, and then on the other side, identical 3, 4 screws on the side. What you'll need to do though is just very gently, you've got a screw down at the bottom on the hinge and a screw down on the other side. Just need to loosen them up ever so slightly. What that will do is that will push the lid away, giving you enough room to put your screwdriver into these sides. So once I've gently unscrewed them, you just need to slightly put them apart, if I can show you in the video. So slightly put your thumb in there and just push it apart. Give you enough room to unscrew these 4 screws. So 1, just try and get it so it's clear in the video. And you've got 2, and you've got 3. And then you've got the 4th one. Be very careful when you've undone the 4th one, as the screen will be loose. Just keep hold of it by one hand. So once they're all undone, what you'll have is you'll have the webcam cable will be slightly stuck to the screen. So if you just gently pry that off like that, and that will show the back. What you'll have on the back as well, you need to take a lot of care with this, is it will still be stuck at the bottom. Just gently take it to pieces. What you'll have is you'll have the connection. The connection will then be stuck on with a light cellophane almost seal. What you need to do, if I can zoom in, I'll show you. Is just gently peel that back, take as much care here, as gentle as possible, as the back is very delicate. Try not to apply any pressure pushing into it, but all you have to do is simply just pull it out, very straightforward, and there you've removed your screen. So what you'll then need to do is get your replacement screen. If you don't already have a replacement screen, I'll put a link in the video down below where you can purchase them. They're the ones I personally use. They're extremely cheap, extremely good value, yet they are still very good quality, and they're identical quality to the original one. So what I'll do is I'll post a link in the description below where you can find that. So what you'll need to do, I'll zoom in again. So you'll need to take the connector and simply, it just slides in as long as you've got it all lined up. Just line it up and just slide it back in till it can't go anymore. Slight bit of pressure just to make sure it's in properly. Then gently just stick down the cellophane again. Connect the cable back up so that's all connected. Stick the wires down so they're all flush. And pop the screen back in. Take your first screw, screw that back in, as much care as possible. Once you've got that first one screwed in, that will hold the screen, which makes it slightly more easier to put the other ones back in. So we'll screw them back in. Now these screws are screwed back in, you'll just want to tighten up these bottom ones on the brackets just to push the lid back flush with the screen. And now that's all sorted, you want to place the bezel back on, the screen bezel. So you do that, you just simply line it up at the bottom, pop it back in, and all you have to do is just, the most satisfying bit of the job, clip it back in. Once it's all clipped back in, especially the bottom bit, you want to make sure the bottom bit's really clipped back in. You want to close the lid, flip it back over, and just make sure these two little clips at the back are also pushed in. Just where the bezel hinges meets the lid. You'll know they're back in because they'll clip and they won't come out. Then you just want to go over this bit at the bottom. Unless you clip that in, that will usually stay unclipped, so just give them a push. Once that's all pushed back in, you just want to get the screws, the first 4 screws that you first took out, and just simply screw them back in. What I'd do though, before I put these little caps back on, these little black caps, is just to check that it is all working okay. Because if it's not, for example, the connectors come loose or something, taking these little black caps off again will just wear them down even more. So you just want to make sure that it's all fully working before you put them on. So what we'll do, now that's all screwed up, we'll just simply pop the battery back in, lock the locked hinge clip thing. We just want to turn it on to make sure it's all working okay. And as you can see, it's all working okay. So what we'll now do is take these little black covers and just place them back on, sit them flush, covering the screws. Bottom ones might be a bit fiddly. If it is a bit fiddly and your thumb's a bit too big, you can't reach in, just gently stick it to a Phillips, a flathead screwdriver. Just gently stick it to it, and you can just kind of like follow it down and kind of just get it into place. That's what I usually do. So they're all into place now. As you can see, the screens are working fine, and that's how you replace this screen on a Toshiba Satellite L730/L735. If you liked this video or if you found it helped, if you could just like the video, Share the video, subscribe to our page, PC Repairs 101. We're always doing videos on how to repair, upgrade, fix laptops and desktops. Great YouTube channel if you want to get into computers or you need any help saving money fixing computers.